Hi, Coke Finlay here, and you're watching Army of One TV. Well, the band formed in 1987, I joined in 1988. The first album I did with them was RECON. I wrote everything on that, basically, and I was drafted in as a lead guitarist because the guitarist they originally wanted, they didn't think had the image for Virus in those days. I was basically drafted in because of my solo expertise, not for songwriting, which they found out later was a little bit better than theirs. Yeah, basically the first album was recorded in the guy's basement. The guy didn't want to have any part of the band. I joined in 1988 with the album RECON. I basically wrote all the tracks in it. Up until, well, Lunacy, I wrote Lunacy as well. The band was initially going to be more of a discharge thing than actual a thrash thing. They wanted it to be a crossover, and we actually crossed over too far and we became more of a thrash band than a punk band crossover. Initially we wanted to be possibly like DRI, Crumbsuckers, Cro-Mags sort of thing. That was the initial thing that we wanted to be, but it sort of evolved into the beast that became Virus. And what Virus really stood for was thermonuclear thrash, something that was never explored, using ideas of biochemical warfare and such things like this. So it actually, there was lots of things that we could experiment on. And when we got to Lunacy, it was all about the deprivation of life on this planet, about how Earth had become a melting pot of shit, and everybody in it was just a complete waste, and like human life was absolutely useless, and there was no hope for anybody in mankind. I know other bands were doing it, like Nuclear Assault. You know, there was other bands like Toxic doing that sort of thing. But for the UK, it was basically us that started the thermonuclear thrash thing, and I think that's what stood us out amongst the rest. Tune in and get your ears tuned into this, because this is how it really happened. The split with Virus was initially because basically we did a festival in the UK called Christmas on Earth in Leeds, supporting bands like Megadeth, Overkill, Creator, the Cro-Mags, Laz Rocket, Overkill. It went down like a ton of shit, because basically we were the biggest pile of bollocks we could play. Heavily hungover, no sound check for any of the bands really, but for us it was even worse because our equipment malfunctioned even before we started playing. So this was a big issue for any band that was playing on that bill. But basically what happened to us was that after this there was a lot of dissension in the band. A lot of people got disillusioned. A couple of guys in the band, they thought this was, you know, that was like the crumbling of the band, let's say, it was the end basically for Virus, because there was nothing left for us to do, because we'd basically fought with fans, fought with journalists, fought with too many people, and the reputation had stuck too much, and the musical differences were different. I wanted to keep it thrash, they wanted to go in other directions, they wanted to do other things. I was principally wanted to keep it old school 80s thrash, but they wanted to do something else. And also I think it was partly my fault, because I was a bit too rough and ready, and I was a bit too ready to go with my fists with anyone, and that was my problem back then. Scottish guy, just being a bit of an arsehole. Basically in those days, back in the 90s, the early 90s, there was far too much inter-conflict going on in the band, and nobody was really interested in carrying Virus any further more than me. They didn't want to, but I did. And it's taken 27 years, 25, or let's say 25 years to get the band back. And the reason I did this was because a fan of mine who had never ever seen Virus, who's now in a wheelchair, a good friend of mine up in Scotland, he said, you have to get this band back together again. There's bands coming out like Gamma Bomb, there's bands coming out like Evil, Mutant, Havoc, you know, bands like Municipal Waste. These guys are like playing your riffs, so why should you not be doing it and show them how to do it properly? So I thought, you know, okay, you know, Bonded by Blood are doing that sort of thing, you know. And there was other bands coming out of England. I don't know, you know, Sabat reformed, Toranaga reformed. There was other bands in the UK that were reforming. Onslaught had reformed. So I don't think there was any question of me not forming Virus again and doing something different. What I did do is I did approach the other guys in the band to see if they would initially join back with me, the original members, and start the band together, you know, but they weren't interested, so I had to find fresh blood. And the only way I could do that was to travel down to London from Scotland and meet new people and get as many people as interested as I possibly could to form Virus again. It didn't matter who the hell it was. If they had the passion for the thrash, if they had the passion for Virus, and they wanted to work with me, then that's all I wanted. And I did get that. And I wouldn't say the first incarnation of Virus was great, because it wasn't. It was a pile of shit. It was basically people that were wasting my fucking time, and I didn't want time wasters. So I wanted somebody who was going to connect with me and stay a long time and play good old school 80s thrash. But it took me years to get that. It took me a few years to get the lineup that I wanted, and I thought I had it until this year. Basically, Virus has come full circle, and what we've produced with this new EP, which is called A New Strain of an Old Disease, what we basically wanted to do was we wanted to take an old Virus, twist it into something you could create was new, a new style of thrash, with the old thrash metal, old school irreverence there. There was something there to connect to the old school, and people will listen to it and you'll hear it and you'll say, yes, that is definitely old school, or you will say, definitely this is new school. But there is no compromise. It will always be Virus. And it will never be any cheap copy, because we don't want to copy anyone. We don't want to become new school. We don't want to step on anybody's toes. But it's just a full thrash assault to the fucking ears when you hear it. And there's a cheeky little cover in there that people might know about. You know, it's a global song. I won't say any more because it is a silent track. It's you know, it's a secret track on the EP. You'll have to find it out for yourselves if you guys buy it. And I seriously suggest you buy it, because in my opinion, this is the best thing Virus has ever done in the space of 20 years. We came from nothing. We came from fucking cinders, from absolutely nothing, the ashes that were left in the Virus wake. But what we did was, with this new EP, we come out with something completely different, something technical, something powerful, something adrenalized, something just to burst your fucking eardrums. And it's fast, it's furious, and to our decontractors who say Virus has slowed down and they're not as fast as they used to be, I fucking say to you, listen to the new EP and find out how fucking fast we are. We're fast, we're technical, we're thrash, and we always fucking will be. Okay, this is for the whole continent of America. For all you crazy fucking thrashaholics out there across the fucking pond, buy the new EP, A New Strain of an Old Disease. It's coming out there, guys. Go and buy it. I'd like to thank all you for listening and for watching this, and I hope you don't think anything less of Virus. But one day we'll be over the pond to see you guys, and thermonuclear thrash.